About the governments could stop in an instant if people would stop believing them in them and empowering them. What's something each of us can do individually to stop that power?
Individually, you can stop focusing on them at all, like they do not exist. And you start creating systems within what you call government systems aside of those systems. But you do it not with a sense of resistance or lack. You literally focus on self-governance without using the example of the government that you do not like as your driving force. You use the positive aspect of the utopia that you imagine, and you live as if that already exists. But we do understand the excitement of drama, of the shadow side of life, and that is what the governments basically represent, and how it can be very alluring and attractive to keep the focus on them so that we may judge them, criticize them, feel disempowered by the idea of them, but we ourselves are creating all of that. So if you can stop doing all of that, you will find that your reality opens up in a freer and freer way, because you are not resisting or feeling disempowered by the idea of an imposing government. They only exist because we keep believing in them.
Right.
This can stop. And individually is the most powerful way, because you then create a ripple that gives someone else the inspiration to do a similar thing.
Just stop believing that they have power over us.
Yes, they do not have any power. They do not hold power. They hold illusory ideas that they then cleverly implant in a mass amount of people that then create that as a reality, because that is their level that their core belief is at. And one by one, this can be changed, but it has to be done from a place of abundance, joy, excitement, and focus on what it is you wish to see in your daily life. Not because you don't like what you see around you now, but because you choose to feel better and better, even if what is around you looks very similar. This is the key. Change the mindset, change the beliefs, and reality changes. For instance, if you have a lighter day in a mood way, everything looks better, does it not?
Yeah, and it shows the possibility of what can be.
Yesterday when you had a heavier day, it didn't look so good. So you changed the reality by your mindset.
Right.
That's how simple it is. But it is a work that needs to be done, just like training for a marathon, training to swim a long distance. It's consistent work, but with a passion.
So when
excitement.
So when the government seems so against the will of the people, it's actually the people's own unresolved traumas and programs that are projecting it.
Yes, and their tendency to hand over all responsibility for their life and their well-being.
And that is as a collective in a way, but also those of us who fully let go, we can shift out of realities where governments exist like that on an individual basis.
Exactly. You can live within a reality and not experience what is going on over the wall, so to speak, as many people do. They already live like that. They do not spend their time focusing on that which they do not like. They feel pure freedom. They think their own thoughts. They experience a reality that excites them. This is already being done. And the more people that do it, the more it becomes what you would call the collective timeline. But there's no fight. If fight is involved, it is just producing more of the energy that the fight is against.
So you say they experience a reality that's more exciting. So what are some ways where we can do that?
Well, the first instance is to stop believing things about your government that you have expressed as negative.
Right.
Stop thinking, stop focusing on them, stop being interested in them when it creates the idea that they have power over you. Can you see how simple that is? That if you stop believing that something has power over you, and that is your new core
individually. So there are things around us that we could say, oh, the government does this for us, or the government does that, or the government does that. But it's my belief that I can move to different versions where it works for me.
Well, you are the ones that are creating all of those things that you think the government are doing. They are, as we described, puppets, not just of the dark forces, but of the mass consciousness.
Right.
You are the puppeteers in this instance.
So these are tips to making it work for us instead of against us.
Exactly, and not fighting or resisting, and not joining realities that you really don't want to live in. Why would a human do that? Think about that for a moment.